My new thing, fits in a clock, breaks in a car, pulls on my brain. Are you ready to see? This is my new thing. Are you ready to see? This thing is my new thing. Shyness will show, excitement will glow. I'm sharing this thing. That thing is my new thing.
Hi, friends. It's comedian Dan Wilbur.
And comedian Zach Sims, and you're listening to My New Thing, the show where people talk about their newest thing. It could be an obsession, it could be a hobby, it could be the thirst for vengeance. No matter what, they talk about it here.
Yeah, we're talking about everything from mild irritation to family annihilating revenge tactics. We gotta get out there.
We've been talking, Dan and I have been talking about ways to get the fan involved more in the podcast. And by involved, I mean, how can we get you to send us our money? Your money, I should say. And one thing we might be able to do, I think, is we could have people come on with their obsession. And I love the idea of having a fan come on and just be like, my obsession is watching you sleep. And then they have a video of us, like a David Lynch film, a video of us
already.
sleeping.
Oh my God, I'm already at your house. That really freaks me out, that part of Lost Highway. Just if someone came up to me at a party and said, I'm at your house right now, I would be scared. I'd be very frightened.
I saw that movie in the IFC Center. They were doing, it was like for the anniversary or whatever, they were doing a re-release. A couple of fun things happened. This is a classic, obviously not just a New York thing, but it feels like a New York thing, where there was an old man on the back row alone, which whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, so I have something to look forward to. And he was sitting all alone, and these little kids came by, or a teen, and they were going to sit down, and one of them accidentally stepped on his foot, and he just, like, at full volume went, ow! And then also at full volume went, asshole!
Oh, no.
A 14-year-old.
To a child.
Yeah, I was probably scarred for life, but I do always feel closer to humanity, really, when I see a sad old man being grumpy.
Now, you have a topical I was at a movie story that I'd like to regale the audience with, if you don't mind.
Oh.
If I can volunteer this
Sure.
on your behalf. Now, you saw the movie Weapons, is that right?
Oh, I feel like I'm on Byron Allen's show. That's great. I heard you got an opinion on escalators. You could say this is it's my new thing. It's my old thing. I love going to the movies. I always have loved, and I like going to the movies alone. You know, I think it's great. I can see what I want. I can sit wherever I want. I can cut out a hole in the bottom of the popcorn, put my little peenie in there.
Yeah, no date. No date
Yeah,
with you, just to do it.
It's not like an assault. It's just me burning my penis on the oil for my own pleasure. That, by the way, because I just gave you a little piece from the act at one point in my life. That was a joke I would do. And that was a clear example of a joke that only worked for comedians, because normal people don't get that reference.
Right.
Which is like the old 50s thing of like a guy in a leather jacket sticking his penis through when they used to have like folded box popcorn. So like, and the joke was that, isn't it great that you just assaulted this woman? That was the joke.
Comedy was different.
Comedy was different. But, you know, coming back in a big way. If you ask certain people. But I love going to the movies alone. I've had a few great movie alone experiences, including that old guy yelling at that child. I had another one where I was going to see Annihilation, which I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And I went alone. I was at home. I was back home, and I just like smoked weed, went to the local cinema, and I'm sitting in the back row, and there's a guy about 4 seats away from me. It's one of these theaters where the seats recline.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, once again at full volume to me before the movie starts, he goes, "Hey, how do you get the seats to go back?" and I go, "Oh, you," and I'm very high. And I go, "Oh, you hit the buttons." And then he goes, "Where are the buttons?" And then I go, "Oh, it's on the side or whatever." And then he figures it out, reclines, immediately falls asleep.
Right.
wakes up an hour into the movie, takes a phone call, and leaves. I think
Busy
he just
man.
was waiting. Yeah, just waiting to meet friends, you know?
Now, I have just to interrupt real quick, I have a chubby guy and large wallet problem, champagne problem for you. My wallet keeps hitting the button on the side of the seat. So there'll be like a quiet moment in the movie theater and like my keys and my wallet, my chapstick, all the things that I shove into my right pocket just bump into. So I remember there was just like a really quiet moment in a movie called Women Talking, which is a nice film. Loved it. And I just went, rant. And then people were like, is this guy playing with the seat? Is this guy so bored at the very thought of women speaking that he needs to play with his seat like a little toddler? And I was like, no, guys, my legs are just chunky. I just got big chunky legs. I'm not fit for these seats.
Sure. You're a man at a time in some ways.
That's right.
In that scenario. But I went this week, to go see Weapons, the Zach Kreger vehicle, one of the whitest kids you know we didn't get to hang out with at the creek back in the day because he was too successful.
There were a couple that were very nice to us.
They were absolutely very nice to us. Still nice to me. I don't know if they have a relationship with you, but
they love me.
I'll see Sam from time to time. He'll puff on a vape and say something nice. But I was at Seeing Weapons. Really enjoyed it. I'm not somebody who likes to feel fear, as I believe I said on the last episode. But this is my kind of horror where it's not really that scary. It's more stylized, and there's a couple of jumps and maybe a little gore. So I'm at this theater at the Regal Union Square. It's like one of these screening rooms where you really feel like you're just in a rich man's movie house. It's about 15 seats. There's about 8 people in the theater. We're all watching, having a nice time. I don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
But I'll say we know that it's about the premise is that they're all but one child in this classroom goes missing. They all, at 2:17 a.m., they all are seen like on Ring cameras sprinting away, and we don't know where these children are. So, semi-spoiler alert, feel free to fast forward, but we eventually find out what's going on with these kids, and they have this violent act where they basically take out the person who had wronged them. Mm-hmm. So it's very intense, wild stuff, great sequence, and then this ends. And then about 30 seconds go by in the movie, and then all of a sudden we hear the door to the theater open, and then literally a 7 to 8-year-old, the same age as the kids in this movie, comes into the theater with frantic eyes, looks left and right, holding popcorn, and then scared scurries out of the theater. And Dan, I got to tell you, we fucking lost it. Everybody it was like a communal, everybody in the theater laughing. Somebody else was like, oh my God, that was so scary. And it was like the magic of the movies is that, having a shared experience. I'm sure that little boy was just lost and he was trying to, get into, some other movie. I don't know what else is playing. Something with a dragon.
Right.
And then he stumbled into this thing. And
at the worst possible moment.
Children
shouldn't be doing
worse
this.
If he showed up like 8 minutes earlier, to be honest, when the shit was really going down. And these are the kind of things you get when you leave your house and go to the cinema.
I have so many fond memories of walking in purposefully to a movie I should not have gone in, and they were only blocking the door for when people were entering the theater, but halfway through Hellraiser or whatever, you could just wander in there. And I remember being a small boy and walking into a couple things where I was like, I don't like this, and then running out.
It's a thing where I don't have enough confidence to sneak in. Oh, a buddy of mine, once we tried to sneak into Black Dahlia, I think it was, and we literally couldn't even get through the previews. We were so anxious that somebody was going to come in and yell at us, and I
snuck into the second Matrix movie, and that was my first R-rated movie that I wasn't. My dad would take me to R-rated movies all the time, but when I went alone, because my dad was like, I'm not interested in that.
He knew
Go
early.
for it. And I went in, and I've never been more disappointed. I was so angry. Like, what a terrible movie. And just being like, I broke the law for this. That's what I say about
Matrix
marijuana,
movie,
too.
The third Matrix movie was my first R-rated movie.
Oh, wow. That shows our age gap.
Mm-hmm.
This is an age gap. This is a May-December romance.
Those 8 months. And it was, I remember thinking it was just fine. It's very rare. even as an adult, for me to see a movie in the theater and not like it a little bit, at least. It's pretty
Right.
rare for me to really not like. What's the last movie you saw in the theater and you're like, oh, I don't care for this at all?
I had an opposite of walking out of a movie theater. I'll tell you one where I doubled down, and it'll make sense as soon as I say it, is that I went to a theater, let's not name which one it was, to go see Uncut Gems, and I was alone in the movie theater, and I was engrossed. I loved that movie so much, and I could hear like a rat eating some concession like a couple rows in front of me because nobody else was in the theater. And I was like, that is the sound of a mammal like getting into some peanut M&Ms. So I just put my feet up on like the seat in front of me, and I was like, I don't care if this rat comes. It wasn't a mouse because those don't exist in New York City. It's rats only. It's a rats only town. And I just enjoyed that film with the presence of a rat. It was great.
I'm guessing, probably the same theater, and we won't say the name of the theater because I would like it to stay open even though it's infested and riddled with rats. But I like independent theaters. But I saw American Fiction at a movie theater, and there's probably about 6 of us. And the movie was so good that there was a rat, and I was like worried. I was like, are people going to scurry? And it's going to, but everybody stayed locked in. We all knew there was a rat, and everybody just stayed, because they don't want to be near you.
No.
You can keep hiding that. They don't want to crawl in your leg,
No.
They want to stay as
that.
far away as possible. And we just loved trying to figure out if Jeffrey Wright was going to find love and happiness, and he didn't. Spoiler alert. He does not. But you know who does have love and happiness all in his soul is James Hamilton. And you know what's helping him find that love and happiness? His new thing, which is watching Cat TV. What is Cat TV? We'll find out right now. James, we often start these shows the same way, and we'll start it right here, right now. Do you consider yourself an obsessive person generally and through your life?
Yes, absolutely. I have been
Thanks, we're done.
That's the whole show. Yeah, definitely. I think ever since I was a little kid, I would, once I get into something, I'm going to go real deep on that thing and then probably stay into it for like a very, very long time. So yeah, definitely a pretty obsessive person. I mean, obsessive feels negative.
No.
To me.
It's positive on this show.
It's positive.
No,
on
I
this
agree.
show.
I agree. I think that, and I always try to say it can be an interest. It doesn't have to be an obsession. You don't have to be putting a mask of somebody's face on or whatever.
Right. I'm curious. I'm passionate. I'm curious and passionate and
No, Zach has a Nixon
good
mask.
researcher.
Zach has his Nixon mask for Robin Banks. And he's
Well, I will say curious and passionate feels like that could also be creepy, but I get where you're coming from. Well, give me an example. What's an early, I know you're an NBA guy, but what's an early childhood love that
I
fueled
mean,
you?
when I was little, I loved collecting things. So, obviously basketball cards, huge for an NBA fan, but I also collected coins for a while when went back to those wheat pennies, and
What is a wheat penny?
the old pennies, I don't even remember what year anymore, they didn't have the Lincoln Memorial on the back. They had like wheat on the side. The back was different.
Whoa.
So wheat penny is just like, oh, that's a really old penny. Collectors know. The collectors here now.
Dude, were you, my brother, we both as a family, in my mind, I was very young when the 50 state quarters thing happened. Maybe that was going on for 100 years and I just didn't know about it. But were you, I remember we had the books.
Yeah.
And we were collecting, and we really thought at like 8 years old this was going to change our lives in a variety of ways. And then it turns out you just got about $5 worth of quarters.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
think they ever.
That's exactly.
It was good for the laundry.
I definitely was collecting those in the beginning. I don't even think I was like collecting coins at this point in time, but it's just like when a special quarter showed up, something in my brain was like, keep this. Hang on to this. So then I slowly started to collect them, and I think at some point I was like, all right, this is this is going to be nothing. This is, it's fun. It's cool. But I think as I've gotten older, I'm pretty intentional about my obsessions. Like I will try to be, because I know that I'll get into anything. So I have to kind of be like, no, this is the thing I'm doing now. So that I try to be like deliberate with it.
Completist? You completist?
No, I'm not a completist. Good. No, I know a couple completists, and I feel for them. It's
sure.
It's like, it's about the journey, it's not about the completion.
Now you're a married man who's 40 or almost 40.
Wow.
Has any
Wow, I didn't know we were going to insult me.
Hey, listen, I got you dead to rights here because I'm going to share something embarrassing. I just want to, I'll give an example and then you'll feel less bad. Is that what I've been doing every night before bed, just for about 20 minutes, I've been playing the original Pokemon. And every time I turn it on, I'm like, this is it, man. It's over. It's over for you. Because you have gone all the way back to like 3rd grade. And is there anything that's come up? Again, like basketball, I feel like that's fair. Sports are like, that belongs to us for a lifetime. But has there been anything that gave you pause?
So within the last few years, I started collecting CDs again.
Yeah.
And
hell yeah.
I mean, I had all of my CDs from when I was younger. Yeah, I spent probably 1 year of college tuition on CDs over my life. Like I could have used that money in different ways, but I just kept moving them from apartment to apartment over time because I think I just couldn't really part with them. And then we came into a car, and I was like, oh, this has a CD player. So I got this out, and then we started collecting CDs again. I've been saying that CDs are the next big thing, that they're coming back. I've been saying it for long enough that it's clear I'm wrong. And
skinny jeans and not vinyl.
I love CDs are great. They're a great medium, but this is absolutely my version of the original Pokemon because I go into these record stores where they're selling CDs for $1, $2. I walk out with 10 of them. It's just plastic. It's just fancy plastic, but I walk out feeling so good about myself.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I stopped listening to Spotify. I mean, I cut
big time.
Cut the subscription. That's how
Do you have a
1999 I am. No.
Do you have a Discman at your hip right now?
No, but that's the next step. That's the next step.
I like CDs are good because I don't have a record player anymore, but I had one and they're too expensive. Dan knows this. He collects records. Mm-hmm. And I do Blu-rays, which are fun, but even that, I'll do like Criterion Blu-rays, and that's like $40. I mean, you can get them on sale, but it's like $40 a pop, fresh off the thing. It's like down payment on a home. Yeah, basically. So I like that CDs are still cheap.
That seems like a nice thing. Remind me that you said you fell into a car, and what a New York bit of economics. You live in New York, and you're like, most people are like, yeah, I had a great uncle who gave me his mansion and a trust fund. And you're like, I fell into a 2008 Jetta that still had a CD player in it because you got to have an old-ass car to have a CD player in it.
I mean, that's exactly why I stipulated that. It's because people who just go out, people who live in New York and go out and buy a really nice car, that's a different tier of economic well-being than when a great aunt dies and somebody goes, we don't know what to do with this. And it's like there's the tier of I could afford a really nice car, and then there's somebody had to pay the ultimate price, and I got a car.
Yeah,
you know?
Mm-hmm. My dad retired and bought a Mustang on a whim.
Ooh,
and so he had to get rid of his manual Jetta, and I had to go down and he had to teach me how to drive stick as an adult. And you know what? We fell right back into like 15-year-old me and my dad. Oh, and he was real mad that I could not figure it out. And
I can do it, Dad.
Yeah. And by the
those
time
dynamics don't go away.
No. No, he was so bad. And we were in a Walmart parking lot at night. It was not. There was no danger. Except for whoever was hanging out in that parking lot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Scary. Scary folks.
My dad remarried maybe like 5 years ago or something. And so, at that point, I'm like 35, maybe 34 when he gets remarried. And the first time that I went on a trip with him and his new wife, and she kind of said something to me in my mind, I was like, "You're not my real mom." Like I could go there so easily, so quickly, even as a grown man.
It's nice to still go on those trips, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, nice in theory. I did it once,
Sure.
and I had my fill. But yeah, nice that we had the option.
What percentage of family trips across the board in all countries are successful, positive experiences? 8? What's the higher percentage? Successful family trips or stand-up in the beginning of Seinfeld episodes that's good? What is the... Because I'm often debating. To me, Seinfeld, it's about 15%, I would say. Yeah.
Well, he never tested
and
him. He never tested him anywhere.
Oh, a lot of that was from the
new.
act.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I always assumed that was
yeah.
just stuff he wrote to like set up the episode. So that's why it wasn't great.
It's a blend. I'm nerdy on this stuff. So some of it is straight from the act. Some of it is correct stuff that was written to set up episodes. Some of it was written by the writers. Like I know Larry Charles. I just used to watch the commentaries like a little freak.
On your Blu-ray.
And Larry Charles. Yeah, absolutely. He was like, I like to try to write the stand-up. And I think a few of them were that way too.
You've spent $500 on Seinfeld Blu-rays over the years. Seen them all.
Oh my God, I have. And you get the puffy shirt. You get the little box
Listen,
with the puffy shirt.
The grid will go down, and we will all be vindicated. I was just having this memory just now, though, of how Seinfeld brained I've gotten is that I went to the Met and I went into the Chinese art and culture section, and they did have really fancy shovels. And all I could think about was, are they going out there with ski poles? Like the whole joke. I did the whole joke in my brain, and I was like, that's probably not what the Met wanted me to be thinking right now when I saw these beautiful shovels. At the Met. Check them out.
That's I mean, I feel like Jerry Seinfeld at this point in time like regularly says things that make me furious
Sure.
or make me hate him, but he is and was very good at the thing he does.
Yeah.
There's as much as any comedian in history, there's a way that every person can hear his comedic voice in your head and can come up with a version of his bit. And that's an impressive feat.
I have said many times he had one of his big bits from like when he was on the rise was about how the laundromat and the washing machine is like the nightclub for clothes. And he would do this whole bit about how like everybody's dancing, the socks grab the underwear, and it's like, come on, baby, let's dance. And then it's like you open the dryer and everybody's like up against the wall hiding because they don't want to get discovered. And that's a really well done, well crafted piece of observational stand up that if you saw anyone do today, you would vomit.
Vomit. We would be so mad if somebody did that at an open mic and you had to listen to it. You'd be like, why did I choose this as a profession or like as an endeavor? Like,
and it's a good bit.
But it's a good bit. Yeah.
Now, I would talk about Seinfeld all day, but I did see your little furry friend come through the frame.
Yeah.
And we don't want to, we can blur him out or whatever in the thing. We don't want people to get too much information. But I know one of the things we want to talk about today was your newer obsession, I think.
Yeah.
Which is the world of cat videos and what that entails.
Specifically, cat TV.
Right.
Because, this is cat TV is TV for cats. So it is a whole genre of YouTube that has absolutely ruined my algorithm, probably for the rest of my life.
You're just seeing the inside of a bag. Is that one? I'm just guessing before you tell us.
I am as curious about who makes these as I am about the original videos, because it's like somebody goes out into the forest and they put a bunch of bird seeds and then they just roll a camera for 10 hours. And it's squirrels, it's birds, it's, mice. We'll say, special character alert because on some of them, all of a sudden, like a gerbil shows up or just something where you're like, what is this? Where is this coming from? And my cats now have learned that like they have screen time, like they go and they stand next to the TV and they like They're waiting, you know. And
Do they anticipate you putting it on? Is that what
yes,
you're saying?
yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're kind of asking for it to be put on. And it's one of those things where it's like, I put it on and they're watching it and they're having a great time. But I'm also sitting there, and at some point you're like, oh, I've watched enough hours of this that this is a thing I do now.
Yeah.
I watch birds eat seeds, you know, like that's my hobby.
They fucking love birds. Yeah, we do a little bit of that too. They, our cats, they fucking go ape shit
Yeah.
for birds.
It's,
eating seeds. Yeah.
You know, like I guess I assumed that they wouldn't be able to process the TV. Like it's so big and it's just I assumed that just like intellectually or whatever, mentally, they wouldn't make sense to them. It makes so much sense to them. They get so close to the TV to the point where I'm like, that bird is almost as big as you, as far as you are concerned, undeterred. They love it. Now, any sound like nature, because all of these have very specific nature sounds that are almost certainly doctored, like heavily sound designed. As soon as they hear the sound of nature, they like run to the TV, which is not what you would want from humans. You know, that's the opposite. Then there's another genre of cat TV that we call TikTok because it is just so fast paced. It's all, I'm assuming AI, but it seems to be like 3D rendered sort of like birds and stuff, but everything is going so fast. So it's just like, you know, it's like around one little thing of grass and there's like, you know, as I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, this is humiliating.
That's the show.
No,
that's the show, you know? Yeah.
This is reminding me because I want to know if you're getting anything out of it besides guilt that you're watching it.
I mean, I actually think I do.
You're learning. You're learning how birds
I don't think I'm learning, but I do think that it is like a very healthy way to spend my time, just in terms of like, oh, I'm just going to hang out here with my cats.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here on my phone. I'm not going to watch something trash TV just so that it's on. Like I'm using my time in a way that I actually want to use it, which is like giving my cats something to be happy about, you know? Sure. So I think I get something, you know, in terms of like learning anything. No. No, I mean, I learned how much other animals like seeds. I learned that for
I love
quite a while
seeds.
every day. Yeah.
You know? Great,
Yeah, we
great
all love-
times. We all love seeds.
We all love seeds.
I like
mean,
to get
wish
them
that was
before
my-
they grow into a plant. You know what I mean? That's
Oh,
where they're
yeah.
that's where they're hiding it. That's where they're hiding the good stuff.
Did you guys, I don't know if it's probably not just a Southern thing, but did you guys know seed guys? Just guys who really loved munching
Well,
on sunflower, on like
baseball.
shelled sunflower
Oh,
seeds?
when you played
Yeah, baseball.
baseball, it was disgusting.
Sure, but I knew guys in their everyday life just with a bucket of seeds,
no.
chewing away,
I mean,
spitting out seeds.
I lived in the South for a while. It's not where I grew up, but so I can say that a seed guy in the South is different than a seed guy anywhere else. I think, you know, I grew up in Colorado and there are similar types of guys, but like in the South, it's something different. They lead with the seeds. They come up and you're like, this is a seed guy, you know?
What is it? Like a straw hat? Like what's giving it away? What's the...
Probably their political opinions. I would imagine.
That's certainly part of it, but there's also like an intensity to the way that they're consuming the seeds. The mouth
Right.
is really moving.
Right.
Yeah. Well, because it's a guy who maybe also dips, but he's in school. So I don't know how kids are doing it now, but back in the day, you weren't allowed to dip
Right.
in
probably
class.
Yeah.
So he's getting a little bit of that Jones. He's got a little bit of an oral fixation, so there's a lot of hands to the mouth.
Not.
A
Now
lot of stuff going to the mouth.
Now
and
I'm
a lot
just,
of in a bottle.
I'm picturing a guy in class surrounded by peanut shells, or like
Sure.
tossing them on the floor, and the teacher's just like, at least he's not vaping. Is what they're saying.
My grandfather loved shelled peanuts, just like a real freak.
Wait,
It's one of those like things where
Unshelled?
better. No, he would do the unshelling himself,
No.
like at Mardi Gras parades. He would do it was like, you know, he was at a ball game.
Yeah.
It's like something to do with your hands.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, people, World War II people.
I mean, Zach,
You know,
would
they
you,
wanna work.
in Louisiana, would you do boiled peanuts?
I never really fucked with boiled peanuts. Not
I
for
got
any.
into them. I got into
You got into them,
Yeah.
It wasn't anything against them. For me, it was always like you'd be on a road trip and there would be a man at a stand on the side of the highway with nothing around for miles.
Yep.
Who just had boiled peanuts, and he would sell them.
Yeah.
People would pull over and buy them. Absolutely.
That's, I think, where I had my first boiled peanuts.
I bet so, yeah.
I was dating somebody who was from the New Orleans area, and she was like, we gotta pull over here. And I was like, this is not a good idea. And it was. It turned out to be a pretty good idea.
Are they soggy? That's my fear with the boiled peanuts. Is there a little bit of a soggier nut?
I mean, they're mushy. For sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. They're I if somebody said they didn't like the texture, I wouldn't slight them on that.
Sure.
I could see how they got there on that one.
I do have texture issues, to be honest.
Okay.
Now, are the cats, not to, we could talk about nuts more, but are the cats, do they attack the TV? Maybe that's my question.
Yeah.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah, so, and to go back to Dan's question of what have I gotten out of this, the cats
sure.
attack the TV, but now the cats have learned to watch other things on TV if we're watching it, and they will attack that.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like if I'm watching basketball, it's the WNBA playoffs right now, the cats will get up there, they're swiping at the ball. They're swiping at the players, and
Quick hands.
That's fun. I don't care who you are. That's fun.
That is my girlfriend. I'm a cat guy. I enjoy cats. My girlfriend has some would say a twisted love for cats, and she her big thing, when she's right about this, but her big thing is that cats play, and people think cats don't play.
Yes.
And I feel like you're describing an example of the fun, vibrant, playful energy of the cat.
Yeah, I mean, I think all animals play. I think it is a unifying thing among maybe not all living beings, but certainly like, mammals and birds and all of this stuff. And so whenever anybody says cats don't play, I'm like, what do you think play is? Like, what? They definitely play. What do you think they're like, hitting stuff around and running and jumping, and I guess they're not like a dog, so they're not necessarily like playing fetch, but they're definitely playing.
I feel, and I'm not a biologist, but I feel that cats are also like whales, and that they probably like play with their dead food. Like they're on that level of play. They're psychotically playing. They're like batting around. Like when you see them bat something, that's like how they would bat a bird and be like, "Oh, this is fun." And then
definitely.
Yeah.
But if you think about like football, like you're just hitting someone
Yeah.
Under the guise of this is fun and play. But if you did that without that, it's like you're a lunatic. What do you mean you just ran into me like with all of your weight and put me on the ground? That's crazy. So I feel like it's similar. I think they know. I don't think they think that they're like, little whatever stuffed squeaky toy is actually dying.
Well, that's what they told me about dogs. My when it squeaks, it's like the pain of an animal that they have hunted and killed.
I mean, I'm sure that it awakes something instinctually, but dogs are the classic animal that knows the difference between playing and being rough. They do that little thing where they put their paws down and they're like they know what play is. They're signifying what play is.
Yeah, nothing more fun than, because I have a pug, and when he was a little puppy, he would just go up and bite the jowls of a much bigger dog, and that dog knew what he was doing and was when he got tired of it, would put a paw on his head, and that's how he knew to cut it out. It's so crazy. And now he's an old ailing, nearly blind. He doesn't play at all. He's just an old man.
I feel like those are the only two types of pugs. There's young, playful,
almost
and very
dead.
old going blind. I never see a middle-aged pug.
That's right.
There's the week and a half where the pug is healthy, and then the remaining 15 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
But are there, I know your guys in a different state, but are there dog versions of this, Dan? Do you think, is there something you would throw on?
Oh, like dog talk?
Sure.
Well, I have a very funny picture of my dog watching Must Love Dogs, and I felt really good about it. And he mostly would put his paws up on the TV stand and whine because he thought the dog should be playing with him. And I always thought the dogs couldn't see a TV,
I
but
thought
maybe
so
the
too.
TVs changed, and that was about like black and white TVs or whatever, and they couldn't. I always
good
thought
point.
I was always told, but I was also told that if I ate carrots, I'd be able to see in the dark, which was just cover for, bomber jets during the Blitz. They told the Nazis that because we actually had radar. I don't know if you know the little fun historical fact that they had radar. And so they could stop all these Nazi warplanes from coming in to London. And they told Hitler that it was because they were eating so many carrots. So he was just shoving carrots down a bunch of Nazis' faces and being like, "You got to get out. You got to get the carrots in." I don't know if that actually happened also. Just a fun fact.
did not know
Just
that.
a fun
Zach,
fact.
I don't know if you know this, but in my household, Dan is known as the salt guy. And that is because
Peanut
years
guy,
ago,
salt guy.
Yeah,
We've
years
ended a happy
ago-
marriage.
at a show, God, what was the show? It was
It was like a
encyclop-
TED talk, but
Yeah.
for
and Dan did his talk on salt because he just read a book on the history of salt, and he was the funniest guy on the show. But he was the only one without a PowerPoint. So when it started, I think we were like, "Oh, I don't know if he prepped." And then he was the funniest one, and that was how Rebecca, my partner, came to know who Dan was. So now I'll be like, "I got a podcast today. Who? Salt guy."
Now, I don't remember anything from that night except that the opening was that I came out with a salt grinder and I had someone put her hand in front of me and I just said, "Say when," and I just started grinding the salt and she never said anything. So she just had this hand of salt and I was
Yeah.
like, that went better than it could have ever gone. And I think what you're saying is, yes, my pedantic side gets in the way of my comedy. And sometimes it's funny, but I just wanted you to know, because my mom would tell me that if I ate my carrots, I'd be able to see in the dark.
Sure.
And it wasn't until, 3 weeks ago that I found out that she was a victim of American propaganda, American and British propaganda to fight the Nazis. And so I think that they also lied to us about dogs not being able to see the
Now-
TV because the dog watches TV all the time.
Yeah.
I will say, if we want to use one sentence to describe Dan, I would say he recently read a really big book about salt. But James, now my question to you is: do you have a preferred cat TV? Do you have people you like? Do you have people you don't like? Who's doing the good content?
Yeah. I don't have particular creators that I look for, but we put it on the TV, so it'll play the little preview. I know the stuff I'm looking for, Sure. I'm looking for nature. I'm looking for a particular pacing. Needs to be quick. They need to be moving around, but not too much. That's crazy, So, so I kind of know generally what I'm looking for, but I haven't gotten so deep to look into the creators. But this is how, my obsessive brain works, is that as soon as I start to look into the creators, I'm going to go deeper and deeper on who they are, because I want to know who is making this content. I want to know who sets out every day and is like, I have a nice camera and I'm going to go set it up for 10 hours. And I spend, $50,000-$60,000 a year on seeds. And I just put it out here in nature, which they have access
gotta be a write-off.
to. Yeah. It's a big write-off. And then they come home and they sound design it. So I'm like, who is this? So I know as soon as I start to clock the names, I'll go deep into what this is.
Absolutely. I like the idea. I just think. Do you think how often are they somebody who wanted to be with Planet Earth and it got rejected multiple times? And this is almost like their demo reel. It's like, if you want to do one that's just birds eating seeds, I'm your guy.
Yeah, it makes me. I'm like, are these cat people who are out there looking for this, or are these bird people who are out there capturing the birds?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions, you know. I do. I really yeah.
It is a fascinating thing because you have to love nature, and I mean,
And
I guess
YouTube.
they just set it up and leave. But you gotta want to have a YouTube presence.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are ads, so I'm sure they're getting some money from ads. But it's like you want the YouTube presence, but you don't want yourself to be front facing or involved in any way. You're not an entertainer.
Yeah.
They're providing a service. They're much like PBS in a way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
This is if something has a high watch count, I'll
Sure.
click in because I'm like, clearly this worked on some level, which is how misinformation spreads. Is people do that with other types of videos, but I'll do I'll click in on those. I forget where I was going with that, but that is
Now,
definitely.
The thing
I was
think
going to
of-
say, I assume those people are part of the YouTube or like creator program. I'm sure they're getting a little bit of money for their clicks, which is funny. The idea that someone is like that within the creator program, someone's like, "Hey, I'm a musician." Someone else is like, "I do pranks," and someone is like, "I roll on birds 10 hours minimum."
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, that
It's
person's
like being a Twitch streamer. It's a long job. It's like a 24-hour a day
yeah,
job. It's tough.
yeah,
I was just imagining that there's got to be one of whatever kind of ghost a cat sees when it's just pausing in the middle of your room. Isn't that what people think their cat is looking at? Like, is there a horror cat TV genre where they get to see the strange, Japanese ghost from an old movie?
At least one of my cats, I think this is borderline like horror movies for her
Yes.
because she's the smarter of the cats.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll get real close. She'll watch the bird fly off to the side. She's smart enough to know that it left the screen. So then she'll go behind the TV. So she's smart enough to know where it should have gone, but she's not smart enough to figure out what's going on here.
Right.
Oh wow.
And so I am sure that in a way that is pretty horrific. Where you're
Something in there.
what is happening here? And my other cat is just loving it, and the smarter cat is just like, this is something. Somebody's playing us. Something's not right.
We do a little bit of the cat TV, and we have two cats, an older one and a younger one. And I would say the older one is a little more transfixed.
Mm-hmm.
The younger one will look for a little bit, and then he would prefer to chase a spring. He's a little, he didn't want to spend all his time on a screen.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wants to get out and see the living room.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
other room.
I will say, particularly with our younger cat, you got to direct the energy from the TV into something in real life.
Sure.
Because the older one will just watch it for a very long time and kind of swipe at the screen, but the younger one will get so wound up, so you gotta run them around. Which I don't know if you're into Jackson Galaxy. That's the cat guy. He was the host of My Cat from Hell for a long time.
Oh.
And you're not going to believe this for a guy named Jackson Galaxy. He's a bit of a cheese ball. But he's really like thoughtful about kind of cat well-being and really like holistic with kind of their emotional state and kind of like, oh, if your cat is acting out, there's probably something they're not getting. There's probably something not right. So he helps people with that. And one of the things he, talks about is like keeping their brain engaged, cat TV being one of them. And, but he will also say like, you should direct their play out into something in the real world to kind of get them running their energy out.
Right. Is a lot of it so you can leave your cat at home alone? You know what I mean?
A lot of the other like catifying of your house, as he would say, is so that they're doing well when you're not there. But we don't leave cat TV on when we're not here because I think they'd tip the TV over.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you just
yeah.
didn't want your money going to these cranks, these strange people.
Yeah.
I don't want my 10 cents per hour.
Yeah. No, I know destruction would be wrought by the time I got back.
Now, do you miss it when you're not watching it? Because I was thinking about how our friend Ross, a friend of the pod, Ross Heiser, told me that he was sad and I guess a lot of other dads were sad when their child outgrew My Little Pony because it has been described as Tolkien-esque. So it's just a plug for all of us to watch My Little Pony, but it's like, oh, this is stupid, but then it just becomes like this fantasy that you get into that you're like, this is the perfect show. It might as well be the Odyssey. I'm really enjoying this. Is there anything where you find yourself saying like, I gotta get more cat TV in?
I don't. I mean, I do think that I will see them on my like YouTube feed, and I'll be like, I gotta come back to that one.
You gotta
for
save
the
it.
cats. Yeah, I gotta save it. They'll like.
No,
they'll
that's
like,
enough
for the cats.
That's enough to answer my question. Thank you.
Yeah, but it also goes back to my other question, where it's like, or my other answer earlier, where it's like, I am taking my human narrative brain and like putting it onto this, where it's like there'll be a bunch of squirrels, and then a black squirrel will show up. Like this is a different species. And I'm sitting there going like, oh, new character, like I see it as sort of, different things are, characters and they're playing out. So
what would have to happen in your life to become someone who is filming birds, for 10 hours a day? Is it something you've thought about if it all goes to hell, instead of going to grad school, I'll professionally film birds?
Yeah, so what would it take for me to be someone who films the birds for Cat TV? Surprisingly little. I think you'd be shocked by how little it would require. I think I haven't thought about it, but as you were saying it, I was like, wait, why haven't I thought about this? I
Of course.
A free day next week, and I will get into it.
Yeah, I believe in the power of nature. I believe in the power of play, and I believe in the power of technology, and this checks all those boxes. Oh, wow. So, I don't know why I haven't thought of that. Probably because I live in New York,
right.
And
you got a car?
I do have a car now. Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Are you one with nature? Do you have a deep love? You're from Colorado, right? Everybody.
I'm from Colorado. Nature. If you don't have a love for nature, you get jumped. And I do love nature. I think as I'm getting older, I'm just kind of like returning to the things that I liked when I was younger in many ways, like the CDs. But I think as I'm getting older, I'm like, oh yeah, the stuff I liked when I was young, I kind of figured it out. I like to read books. I like basketball. I like cats, and I like going outside. Life's pretty simple in the end.
Now, we usually ask at this point in the podcast how you would suggest getting people into this. And so I have some specific questions. What am I searching for on YouTube? And if you don't have a cat, should I watch cat TV?
Yeah, okay. So I have... these are. I like that you were specific with these questions. So simplest search terms is just cat TV. Okay. That is like YouTube language. It will bring up the highest kind of view videos. It's a great place to start. You can get more specific based on what your cat's like. I know that one of our cats likes birds more. The other one likes the mice videos more. She gets hyped on those. So like you can type in cat TV birds, cat TV mouse, things like that. In terms of should someone get into this without a cat?
Yeah.
I think there are easier ways to get what this offers you, which is like beautiful ambient sounds in the background.
Sure.
But it does sound nice,
right.
So, you could put it on back there. And there are worse things you could be watching on YouTube. In fact, most things on YouTube are worse than this. Mm-hmm. So, if it's between this and like a rabbit hole of increasingly extreme far right ideology, watch the birds, man.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, put a bird on there. Although sometimes they get a little chirpy. They get a little.
You can tell which ones. Like a blue jay. He's so territorial. That guy is we know what that guy is. Libertarian at best.
Yeah, he's coming on there. He's like, you can't chirp about anything anymore. He's like,
now it is interesting. I find that because cats we'll sometimes put on. We don't do a lot of cat stuff, but she'll put on cats getting groomed. Now this is for my lady. My lady enjoys this. The cats get no pleasure out of looking at another cat. Where I think dogs, when they see another dog, they're like, "Oh, look at this. Let me bark a little bit at this guy." But cats, they'll play together, but they get nothing comes to them when they see one of their own. They get no joy out of it.
Correct. If anything, they're like, whoa, what is this guy doing in here?
Yeah, did not sign up for that.
Yeah, they get
absolutely.
They get not pleased. That is interesting that your partners was watching cats clean themselves.
Sorry. So this is a cat being groomed professionally.
Oh,
groomer. Watching a cat
that's a lot
clean
better.
themselves is a little perverted.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I could
better.
see it in your eyes. You were, and I appreciate that you didn't call her out on it. But no, she'll watch a groomer. She'll watch a comb job.
Right.
She's not watching a cat lick himself like it's I don't know, like it's a webcam.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I think
That's
in general,
a different kind of cat groomer. Am I right?
Yes.
You don't want to Google groomer.
Yeah. I think in general,
Cat TV is probably one of the few things you could Google or YouTube and not be sent down a terrible rabbit hole of smut.
Yeah,
Right.
because
Although,
cat groomer, Dan is right. That you could take a wrong turn in there, and it could get weird.
Keep buying them. Keep buying them little fake mice. And be like, you want more of those? You come see me. Come see me at my apartment. That's so upsetting.
I mean, I think in general, if someone is thinking about this cat TV for themselves or for cats, I do, and certainly my partner would say this, I am way too concerned with our cats' well-being. They are pretty independent creatures, and it's something I think about all the time. I mean, I have the most extreme example of this is that our younger cat, who's the one that's like climbing around here, for a while she had to be on like medicated food, like a special food. But the older cat would just eat it all. And so I started to get worried about this, where I was like, oh, the younger cat's not getting her food. The older cat's eating the wrong food. And it would keep me up at night. Like I would just be like, I bet she's in that other room eating this food right now. Like I'm thinking about this. Yeah. So then I brought the food next to the bed so that I could keep an eye on it.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. But then of course I'm sleeping. So the older cat's just eating it now next to it. So then I brought the food into the bed.
Oh no.
I put it next to me. And my partner was like, I hate that you're doing this. I don't enjoy this.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, but it's just to keep an eye on it. And then I am not exaggerating. One night I had a dream in which I was eating something in the dream. And when I woke up, I had eaten some of the cat food.
Oh, no.
Good for you though, for I taking that. I feel like if we go into gender norms, you would expect the guy to be less chill. So I like you standing up for cat men and cat dads, that you can also be out of your fucking mind, just like anybody else,
Yeah, I'm breaking down barriers in that way. Yeah.
Now, James, where can we find you on social media? We know how to find the cats and Cat TV, but where can we find you if you want to break from all the cat stuff?
Yeah, if you're taking a break from Cat TV and birds and filming the birds, I'm the Jam Ham, at the Jam Ham on everything. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. And I guess that's kind of the only two things left for me anymore. I got off of the other ones. So Instagram and TikTok at the Jam Ham. And I have a new basketball podcast coming out, which is like a mix of kind of like storytelling and history, where we go deep on a new player every episode. It's very fun and funny and interesting. It's coming out in October. It's called Posters. So people can check that out. I got off of Twitter and I went into Blue Sky.
Sure.
And I was just like, I can't do this. I can't.
Blue Sky.
To me, I was like, yeah, but I was also just like, yeah, sure. We got off of Twitter because we don't like the owner, but also this type of social media is not good for me. It's like, it's like, oh, I stopped smoking one type of cigarettes and I'm smoking the other because I like the guy who owns the company more. I'm like, this isn't good for me anyway. So I stopped doing it. And then I did Threads for a while, which makes zero sense. But I can't do it. I don't know.
You know what would help you? Pokemon right before bed. Don't read a book.
Yeah.
Don't
That
look
was-
at anything.
Yeah.
That was my thing with Letterboxd, which I love movies and I should get on there more, but it's just it's very different than Twitter or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's just another fucking thing where it's like I have to request friends, and then I have to like feel bad about not having as many friends as Roger Ebert's corpse or whatever, and it's just it's too much.
Well,
I should get on Letterboxd though, because I'm sure it's a good discourse.
Well, James got me on Letterboxd, and
I
he
forgot.
and someone
Yeah.
that I used to work with were my only friends, and Patrick Hasty. And so I thought it'd be funny to only post reviews as if I'm James' dad recommending them. And so I
Yes.
just go like, James, this one Weapons was pretty good. It didn't have me the whole time, but you'll enjoy it. But it's just my public profile.
Yeah. It was a treat. And I
should go back to doing it.
yes, it was so funny. And also because that's what I like about Letterboxd is like, I don't care what other people think about this. I'm following just people I actually want to know what they're watching and what they think. So when you click through and you're just seeing somebody be like, wow, one person's like, this is Denzel at their best. And the next person's like, Sidney Lumet's such a good director. And then the next one's like, James, you will love this. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was a good bit. I should
Yeah.
stick to it. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you, James. That was
Yeah,
Thanks,
delightful.
thank you.
James. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, what a fun one.
Thank you, James Hamilton, for sharing the love and the wisdom of cat television. Dan, where can we find you on phone television, which is, by that I mean social media?
Oh yeah, get your phone TVs out and text me at this number. I'm at Dan Wilbur Comedy on TikTok, on Instagram, on anything that they haven't bought and ruined. It's at Dan Wilbur everywhere else. And you can catch me at QED next Friday or various other places. But the most important one that you can come to is at Young Ethel's every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. It's called We Have Fun. I'm there. Zach's there. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I can be found at Instagram at also Zach Sims and TikTok at Zach Sims Comedy. And Dan and I are doing a show tonight. Not when you're listening to this. It already happened. But just so you know, Dan and I are out there getting
we're
booked.
working. Yeah, we're working.
We're bringing the heat. And until next week, see you, hobbyholers.